Hello YouTube, your shooting buddy here again. This video is going to be a little different than the others. I don't have any equipment or guns that I want to show you. I wanted to talk about today the very personal decision that you make to use a gun for personal protection. Now, I'm not talking about using it in so much in terms of firing a gun at an attacker or a home invader or to stop some other mayhem. I'm really talking about your decision that you're gonna arm yourself and have that gun ready and available for personal protection, whether for your house or for your everyday carry, or maybe a combination of the both, depending on what your circumstances are. It's a very, very complicated and personal decision. You have to be of the mindset that something could happen where you would be willing to take the life of another. There's no such thing as warning shots or shoot to wing 'em or any of that. If you fire a gun at another human being, you have to fully intend to kill that person. No other reason would justify you pulling that trigger. You must be willing to kill them. Whether or not that happens is up to the gods and whatever happens, but your intention has to be you're going to kill that person. So for most normal people who aren't psychopaths or predators, that is a mindset that is hard to come by. It's not the easiest thing to see yourself doing. And the downfall of many people in that position is their very own moral code that tells them, well, you know, I'm not gonna have to fire on this person. I'll just show my gun and that'll chase him away, or you know, I'll tell him to stop and he'll stop. Well, that's because you're a normal person. That's why you think that way. Crazy people, criminals, predators don't think that way and wouldn't hesitate to kill you for very little or no reason at all. So don't get the impression that anything short of lethal force is going to stop that person. So now you have to decide, you know, am I ever going to be in a position where I'd be willing to do that? You know, a lot of people might say no to that. You know, there's a lot of these snowflakes out there who just don't think you should be able to defend your own life even. They think surrender and retreat are the only options. And I'll tell you what, those are good options if they're going to be able to work for you, but most of the time they don't. You know, I remember when I lived in New Jersey, your prime directive from the government was that even within your own house you had a duty to retreat. Now, and that went so far as so long as it was physically possible for you to retreat, you didn't have a right to stand your own ground. Since those days, a lot has changed in the law, and you know, people are allowed to have greater leeway in their own personal self-defense, defense of your life, or grave physical harm of you or someone else that you are either responsible for or just happen to be a passerby. You're allowed usually to defend someone else's life if they are in danger, even if that person isn't related to you and you're not responsible for them in any other way. So you have to check the laws of your state. You know, most states have different rules for carry permits or training or self-defense training, and those classes always include a section about the legal ramifications. And you know, they used to say, well, you shoot the guy and then drag him in the house and all that. None of that is any good. None of that applies. The big thing is what's up here in your head. You have to be able to make the decision that you're going to use that lethal force. Any hesitation on your part could be fatal. And that's really the big sticking point that most people will have. That you have to come to grips with that before you come to grips with any of the other details that involve. Should I get a handgun? Should I get a revolver or a pistol? Should I get a shotgun? Should I have a rifle? Should it have optics? Should it be open sights? Should it be this? Should it be that? All that is going to be secondary to your primary decision to arm yourself. Now, since I live in a state that's relatively free, I choose to be armed most of the time, except when I'm at work. That's strictly prohibited at my job. But most other times, if I'm out and about, I am armed. Legally so. I don't even need a permit to carry. We are a constitutional carry state, but I have a carry permit anyway. It gives you a little more leeway in certain places and circumstances. Plus, it's an extra certification that, you know, I went through the training and the studying necessary to get that permit. But this all comes to mind. My daughter is a single mom. She lives with my granddaughter, who's just about ready to turn 9 years old. They live alone in a fairly nice neighborhood, but there's been known to be some shenanigans in some of the backyards and such. And she's decided, or is beginning to decide, to take the step to get a firearm for personal protection. I don't think she's planning to carry it day to day, but, you know, she is responsible for the lives of two people that I love very much, and I wouldn't want to see anything happen to them. So I'm encouraging her to go ahead and do that as much as possible, because even if she weren't up to the situation, if it arose, at least she had a chance. And that's more than you can say if your only response to a home invasion is to get the wooden spoon out of your kitchen drawer. So I'm very proud of her for taking that step, or at least considering to take it. And you know, it'll be what it'll be. But going on, besides the formal classes that you can take to study the laws and understand the mindset you need for this, there's a very good book. It's one of the few books that I've given out to other people as gifts over my lifetime. It's one that's been around for a really long time. It's called In the Gravest Extreme by Massad F Ayoob. Massad F Ayoob is a very famous gun writer and philosopher, really. He understands the ins and outs of personal defense. Very well put. It's a real skinny little book. I wish I had my copy right here, but I don't. Excuse me, but I'll put a link to it at the bottom of this video, so anybody that's interested could get it. I'm sure it's available on Amazon. It's a little skinny book, but boy, does it make you think. Makes you understand what has to be going through your mind before you pull that trigger. You have to be ready, willing, and able to have your whole life turned upside down. Even if you're successful, your whole life is turned upside down, because you're going to be embroiled in a legal battle with the perpetrator's relatives, the state, depending on the district attorneys in your area. It could be brutal. And believe me, they don't give up on law-abiding citizens protecting themselves. Where they don't seem to care is, you take Chicago, for instance. There seems to be a massacre going on in Chicago, and nobody seems to care anything about it, except once in a while a politician throws his hat in the ring and makes some noise about it, but nothing is really done. Recently, President Trump has started to talk about that, and that might indicate that some action will take place. He seems to be, in these 10 or 11 days he's been in office, man of action, so we'll see what happens. I used to be some of the time carrier. And why I said some of the times is, you know, it's a commitment to carry a firearm on yourself all the time. There's the weight and the inconvenience, there's following the law, there's keeping it from printing under your clothes. There's all kinds of things that are associated with carrying a gun. So, well, in my head, I said, well, you know, I'm going to be carrying all the time. In reality, I really wasn't. And what changed my mind was the attack on the Chattanooga, Tennessee recruiting station and the National Guard unit, when that terrorist came and shot those people up in a gun-free zone, right through the sign on the door that said gun-free zone. You could see the bullet holes. And that turned my head. That made me say, you know what? We have to carry all the time. You never know when something is going to happen, and you need to be prepared. Now, I am in my 60s now, and I'm not as fast, and I'm not as trained, and I'm not as accurate, and I'm not any of the things I was back in the day, but I'm determined. I'm resourceful, and I will continue what I set my mind to do, if that's what I really want to do. And that's why I think I could be underestimated and take advantage of that fact in a life-threatening situation. Excuse me. I'm not thinking that I carry relentlessly for my own personal sake. I care about my loved ones, my family that's around me, innocent bystanders, people that are unaware, people that don't pay attention. Those are the people that I carry for. You know, they say there are three kinds of people. There are wolves, there are sheep, and there are sheepdogs. Well, in my head, I'd like to say, you know what, maybe I'm a sheepdog. I try to protect the people that I'm with and around. But I know I'm not. I'm not the equivalent of, let's say, some 25-year-old that just came back from Afghanistan or Iraq or something. Those people have really, what they call, seen the elephant, you know. I've not been tested. I've not ever had to do anything really that uncomfortable in my life. At least not in my personal life. Professionally, I've been pushed to the limit sometimes, but be that as it may, that's not the same thing at all. But I like to think I could be somewhere between that sheep and the sheepdog. You know, I definitely don't feel like I'm a wolf. A lot of things make me angry, but I don't ever really want to go off on anybody. So those are my thoughts on that. You know, you have to be mentally prepared if you think you want to obtain a firearm for personal defense. It's a big decision. You need to think about it, study on it, be introspective as much as you can, and figure out if you think you can do that. And if you do, that's great. I think the more people that walk around armed or have arms readily available at their house, the safer everybody is, because these people don't attack gun-free zones for no reason. They attack gun-free zones because they know that's the place where all the good guys put their gun in the locker, or they leave them at home, or they do what they were supposed to do. So Aluaka asshole can come around and shoot up the place. Well, if he knows that good people might be and are probably armed, that might change the way they approach that a lot. You know, obviously there's a lot more to this. There's choosing the right weapon. There's trying to understand what is appropriate training. My goodness, the ammunition choices alone are tremendous. You have to really think about what ammunition you're going to use in a home defense situation. You do not want to shoot through the wall by accident and injure your child or the neighbor or some innocent bystander. The walls in these houses are very thin in places, and that's very, very likely to happen if you're not thinking about the ammunition, the circumstances. You have to plan out what you would do and how you would do it in your head long before it happens, because excuse me again, if you're not ready for it when it happens, you're not going to be able to dream it up in the most stressful minute of your life. That would be the most stressful minute in your whole life, and you're going to expect to develop a personal defense plan. Not going to happen. You have to be able to do it by remote control. Your body just knows what to do, when to do it, how to do it. Everything has to be smooth. As they used to say in the Old West, go slow, fast. And that's what you need to do. So I hope this video gave you a little bit to think of. Please subscribe if you like it, and give it a thumbs up. And until the next time, it's your shooting buddy here, and have a great day. Thank you.